Yezdam Dadgadadar, Maname Kadao, Baname Yazar, Bakshal Yende, Bakshal Yazgar, Meherbam, Snautrau Remazdao, Nemasete Atash Mazdao, Ahore Dao, Madistal, Yezatal, Hashem Bohu, Vaishemasti, Pushtasti, Pushtamai, Yatashai, Vahishtai, Hashem, Paname Yazdam, Auramazdav Kadai, Avaduni, Gorze Kore, Avazayal, Atarish Dargao, Hadat Farao, Azamau Gunau, Patet Kashemanum, Azavarustin, Rishmatau, Duzutau, Zoroastrian, Memphar Getimani, Oem Gof, Oem Kar, Oem Just, Oem Bul Budested, Azangunam, Manashmi, Gavashmi, Kunashmi, Tanirani, Getinani, Okeva, Spaseman, Pase Gavashmi, Papadetamom. Usmoy Uzareshwa Ural, Armaiti Terishin Daswal, Spanish Tao Menumantal, Wanguya Jawadal, Ashajo Emwal, Wohumananga Sedatum, Rafedrai Poruch Kashanen, Noishi Moi Yabe Abifral, Dakshatriya Ural, Yamangeus Shishmanango, Frosenta Armaite, Ashayana Fradakshial, Atalatam Zarathustro, Tanvasi Kakayal, Ushlen Daiti, Paurvatatem Manangasya, Vange Ushmastai, Shyotniyal Ashayacha, Ugdayacha, Sroshen Shatrencha, Snautra Uremzau, Nemasate Atashmasau, Ahureudau, Madishta Yadau, Hashem Bahu, Vaishtemasti, Ustasti, Ustamai, Yadashai, Vaishtai Hashem. Hashem Bahu, Vaishtemasti, Ustasti, Ustamai, Yadashai, Vaishtai Hashem. Hashem Bahu, Vaishtemasti, Usta Asti, Usta Amai, Yadashai, Vaishtai Hashem. Pravadane Mazde Snow Zarathushti, Videvo Vratakesho, Ade Ashone Asheratve, Yasnaicha, Amaicha, Nautraicha, Sastaicha, Savamge Siaicha, Shalme Asheratve, Yasnaicha, Amaicha, Nautraicha, Sastaicha, Atro Remestau Utrau, Tavatash Utrau Remestau, Atro Remestau Utrau, Karenango Savango Masdate, Aidianam Kareno Masdatanam, Kavecha Kareno Masdate, Atro Remestau Utrau, Kavoi Shau Saravunge, Varoi Shau Saravunge, Asnavante Varoish Masdate, Jayjiste Varoish Masdate, Kavecha Karenango Masdate, Atro Remestau Utrau, Varavante Varoish Masdate, Kavecha Karenango Masdate, Atro Remestau Utrau, Ataspenta Testa, Yazakabu Karenangau, Yazakabu Yashazau, Atro Remestau Utrau, Madrispevio, Adelevio, Shatro Pedro, Negio Sange Zazay, Snautra Yasnaicha, Maicha, Snautraicha, Sastiecha, Yata Huevio, Zauta, Fame Marute, Atagalu, Shachi Hachau, Vashava Vidvau Mrotu, Yasnem Chau, Amen Chau, Uvetim Chau, Ushtavetim Chau, Vanta Bertim Chao Afinami, Vādas Putrau Restau, Yasnio Ahiromio, Yasnio Viau Omio, Manau Mashiaknam, Ustavia Tamai Mede, Yasetva Pada Vaizete, Aismol Justo, Paresmol Justo, Gavo Justo, Havano Justo, Daityo Esme Viau, Daityo Boidi Viau, Daityo Pitri Viau, Daityo Pasene Viau, Medanayu Shatre Viau, Damayu Shatre Viau, Atas Putra Restau, Sauche Vie Amyanamane, Mat Sauche Vie Amyanamane, Rauche Vie Amyanamane, Vakshate Vie Amyanamane, Daregem Chit Ekvizavanem, Upasram Fashokeretim, Adasuyau Funduyau Fashokeretoi, Dayau Me Atash Putrau Restau, Asu Atrem, Asu Traitim, Asu Jitim, Oru Atrem, Oru Traitim, Oru Jitim, Masin Spano Shilveren, Hijvam Urunem Shikatum, Paseta Visita Jantem, Apayatrem, Nayam Paseta, Beretim, Eredo Jangram Kafiam, Trishum Asnam Chau, Shafram Chau, Asito Atum Jagaurum, Rudrusham Asnam Fazentim, Kashorazam Yagnam, Amrodam Vavaham, Ajobujim Viram, Yame Fradiau, Namanim Chau, Visem Chau, Zantum Chau, Dakyum Chau, Dambu Shastim Chau, Nayame Atash Putra Restau, Yame Atash Restau, Duremcha Yaveshayate, Vaishem Om Shonam, Rauchangem Vispokatrem, Zedevye Gausham Zedevye, Vamgausham Zedevye, Urunecha Darenge Avangay, Vispelyo Sastim Mariti, Atash Rastau Urey, Aibyo Amchaite, Shafnim Chau, Suilim Chau, Vispelyo Achaite, Uberetim Chau, Ushaberetim Chau, Vantaberetim Chau, Vispitam, Vispanam Paracharintam, Atas Jasta Adideo, Chim Akasha Bareti, Fracharetau Armanisade, Atares Mentem Yesamende, Takme Mantem Natestarem, Artishem Aimleti, Eshmim Vav Shaya Baretem, Baresmavav Shaya Frasveretem, Urvaram Vav Danagatam, Ahe Pascheta Fineti, Atashmastau Ove, Shnuto Atvisto Adanganum, Upatva Shoi Devushvatvav, Upavinam Paudutas, Upatva Verezavatjano, Verezavatijal, Akshoi Tanguval, Urvak Shanguval, Vayajikeshal, Tao Shakamo, Yao Javai, Imat Astro Afrivanem, Yom Hikus rochas predistau, Asher beza yostatam. Yatahu elio tatatus asharchi achau, Wangeus dasam manengo, Shotganam Angeus mastai, Shatrencha aurai, Ayim dregubyo, Dadat vastarem, Yatahu elio tatatus asharchi achau, Wangeus dasam manengo, Shotganam Angeus mastai, Shatrencha aurai, Ayim dregubyo, Dadat vastarem, Yasnem chau, Vamem chau, Aujas chau, Zare chau, Afrinami, Atro remesau putrau, Tavatas putrau remesau, Atro remesau putrau, Arenango savango masatate, Aidianam kareno masatatanam, Kave chau karengo masate, Atro remesau putrau, Kavoi shau saravange, Varoi shau saravange, Asnavante karoish masatate, Chaitiste karoish masatate, Kave chau karengo masate, Atro remesau putrau, Rayamante karoish masatate, Kave chau karengo masate, Atro remesau putrau, Atas menta tesau, Yazata voru kainangau, Yazata voru peshazau, Atro remesau putrau, Matvispebio aterio, Shatro kafedro, Nedio Sunday Yazare, Hashem Ovahu Vaishtemasti, Ushtasti Ushtamai, Yadashai Vaishtai Hashem, Hashem Ovahu Vaishtemasti, Ushtasti Ushtamai, Yadashai Vaishtai Hashem, Hashem Ovahu Vaishtemasti, Ushtasti Ushtamai, Yadashai Vaishtai Hashem, Atoi Atrem Orau, Aujangvantem Ashau Semehi, Asishtem Emavantem, Soyamentem Chitravamem, Atmastar Redishente, Justai Ainem, Hashem Ohu Vaishtemasti, Ushtasti Ushtamai, Yadashai Vaishtai Hashem. Amai Raschau, Karinaschau, Amai Tanmo Navatatem, Amai Tanmo Vasdare, Amai Tanmo Veretrem, Amai Ishtim Paulus Katram, Amai Astam Chitvasandim, Amai Darigam Darigojidim, Amai Vaishtem Amashonam, Rauchangem Vispokatrein, Atazamyam Yatafrinami, Hashem Vahu Vaishtemasti, Ushtasti Ushtamai, Yadashai Vaishtai Hashem Hazangarim Vaishazanam Vaivare Vaishazanam Hazangarim Vaishazanam Vaivare Vaishazanam Hazangarim Vaishazanam Vaivare Vaishazanam Hashem Vahu Vaishnemasti Ushtasti Ushtamai Yad Ashai Vaishtai Hashem Jasame Avangay Masao Jasame Avangay Masao Jasame Avangay Masao Amay Ukashte Uroge Vetrane Aurate Valentiao Shau Varatato Ramano Kasre Vayo Shukaro Kaire Taratato Anyayishtamau Ayatate Vayo Yate Asti Spendo Mayom Tavashe Kate Zarvane Kate Zarvane Zareko Kate Hashem Vahu Vaishnemasti Ushasti Ushamai Yad Vashai Vaishtai Hashem Kefe Mosdal Gunam Udareshtirao Gunam Ashayiravam Rushalandrao Am Kefe Amayaram Haftareshwar Zamin Zamin Pranao Rudranao Khoshe Palao Bundera Beresao Ashok Devi Atarazmiao Yata Afrinami Hashem Vahu Vaishnemasti Ushtasti Ushtamai Yad Ashai Vaishtai Hashem Rosniknam Rospaknam Rospakubara Beram Yezal Mahe Mubarak Asvandarma Tameshasvam Gahe Avam Namazadare Namam Snautrau Remesau Nemasate Adashmasau Aurevau Madishta Yazau Hashem Vahu Vaishnemasti Ushasti Ushtamai Yad Ashai Vaishtai Hashem Gurde Kore Avazayau Adash Adgau Adadefrau Adaran Shapirosgar Adar Gushasva Adar Korda Adar Burzimne Avare Adaram Uatasham Kebradgau Nishastayase Gurze Koravazayau Mino Katko Amavandel Pirosgar Amavandi Pirosgari Nadine Mazde Islam Agay Wa'awani Ba Afakashishwa Zamin Aydun Ba Manano Awaya Shudan Manano Awaya Shudan Manano Awaya Shudan Hashem Vahu Vaishnemasti Ushasti Ushtamai Yad Ashai Vaishtai Hashem Dadare Dhyamdine Mazidesni Dade Zarathushti Namaste Sham Siviste Hare Vishuranaite Hashem Vahu Vaishnemasti Ushasti Ushtamai Ushtasthi, Ushtasthi, Ushtamai, Yadashai, Vaishtai, Hashem, Snau, Trau, Remazau, Nemasate, Atashvastau, Aureutau, Zishtai, Ajatau, Hashem, Vahu, Vaishtemasti, Ushtasthi, Ushtamai, Yad Ashai, Vaishtai, Hashem.
May we request you all to please rise and say Hum Bandagi of Tu Yatha, One Hashem, and I Yama Ishyo prayer, which will be on the screens for those who do not know it by heart. Let us begin. Yatha Hu
Tathagatush, Ashad Rachau, Vangeush, Dasamanango, Shautanam, Angeush Masai, Shatrancha, Aura, Aim, Trekubyo, Tadat Vasarem, Yada Hueyo, Atharatush, Ashad Rachau, Vangeush, Dasamanango, Shautanam, Angeush Masai, Shatrancha, Aura, Aim, Trekubyo, Tadat Vasarem, Hashem Vahu, Vaishtemasti, Ushtasthi, Ushtamai, Yad Ashai, Vaishtai, Hashem, Ayemai Ishyo, Rafetrai Jantu, Neidyasya, Naidyasya, Zarathushti, Vangeush, Rafetrai Manango, Yadainam, Vailing Anam, Visem, Ashayam, Yasa, Ashim, Yamishyam, Aurom, Masatam, Masao, Hashem Vahu, Vaishtemasti, Ushtasthi, Ushtamai, Yad Ashai, Vaishtai, Hashem.
May our Master's blessings be upon all of you. Please be seated. Thank you very much.
Pick up. Side. Careful the wire.
Ladies and gentlemen, I will ask you now to please rise.
Attention! Forward march!
Zarathushti.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the rampart we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets vainly, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love, in all thy sons' command, with glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true North strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Color guard, turn left. Color guard, forward, march.
Careful the cable.
Color guard, turn left.
Here's to the heroes, those few who dare, heading for glory, leaving a prayer. Here's to the heroes who change our lives,
we lost a pillar of our community. Someone whose name and way of life is synonymous with charity and philanthropy in our Zarathushti community. This someone was Ervad Marvan Zarathushti. His good deeds have been felt not only in North America, but throughout the global Zarathushti community. In a recent memorial service, Mr. Bhomi Patel, president of Fezana, had presented a letter to the Zarathushti family, which I would like to share with all of you today. To the respected Parandok Kanon, Homa, Jamshid, Vaida, Merborzine, and members of the Zarathushti family, on behalf of all presidents, the Fezana Executive and Member Associations, we express our heartfelt condolences and on the sad demise of one of the greatest Zarathustis, Ervad Marvan Zarathushti. He was a kind and compassionate and humble gentleman who leaves behind a legacy of philanthropy and integrity. He selflessly helped our community and institutions worldwide, whether it be the Parsi General Hospital or the community in Bombay, London, Iran, Australia, or Fezana and its member associations in North America. His selfless service knew no boundaries or borders when it came to helping anyone in our Zarathushti community. Fezana and many of our member associations have been recipient of his generosity and support for the endowment and to build Darbe Mayors in various parts of North America. May Ervad Marvan Zarathushti's selfless deeds continue to inspire us, that like him, we may continue to work for the betterment of our community and humanity. We pray that our Guru Mazda gives the Zarathushti family strength and courage to bear the sudden loss of Marvan. And whilst we share the sadness of loss with his family, we also celebrate his life, of this unique and dynamic Zarathushti who's touched the lives of so many. May his soul of Ervad Marvan rest in eternal peace in the abode of light with Ahura Mazda. Respectfully, Bhomi Patel, President on behalf of the Fezana Executive Member Associations and Committee. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to honor his memory with a moment of silence. Thank you. Well, good morning. How is everyone today? Good. Kemcho, Saibji, Bale Padero, and Ruz Bakir. My name is Farzeen Patel, and I will be your host this morning for this morning's opening ceremony and for the next 4 days. On behalf of Gabe Menton and myself, I would like to welcome you to New York, the host city, for the 2012 North American Zarathushti Congress. We hope that your journey here was safe and that you are ready to take part in exploring our Zarathushti existence in the contemporary world in North America. The next 4 days are for you to choose and for you to take opportunities to enjoy the company of your fellow Zarathushtis who have come from different parts of the continent, the world, to enjoy our beautiful city with its exciting nightlife, theater, and the arts. As we begin this journey ahead for the next 4 days, we also want to recognize that there were over 100 Zarathustis from Iran who were determined to come meet their fellow brothers and sisters, but were not able to attend this conference due to pending conflicts between our two nations. Regardless, we want to welcome them as well as others around North America and the globe, as we will be making our proceedings available through various media outlets after the Congress for all to view. We are here to support the thirst for learning, all about our religion and the current issues that face us here in North America and abroad. So please join me in welcoming them, as well as yourselves, to the 2012 North American Zarathushti Congress. Let us begin then. Please join me now in welcoming the co-chair of the 2012 Congress and past and current president of ZAGNY, Mr. Gabe Denton.
It's a long walk. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Percy, for the great introduction. To our beloved priests, President of Izana, Bhumi Patel, its executive board, member associations, respected speakers, panelists, sponsors, performers, volunteers, our audience, and anybody else I've forgotten. First, let me begin by congratulating Izana. We are celebrating its 25th anniversary, and there is a program that we hope many of you will attend. It promises to be exciting. To give you a perspective, we have a total count of 575 attendees to the Congress. This does not include the 100 plus that were supposed to come from Iran and could not, as Percy mentioned. We have approximately 710 people that are attending our banquet night on Saturday. Regrettably, we had to close down our registration because, as you can see, this hall cannot accommodate anymore. And it's a regret because we wish we could have accommodated everybody. It's not a boast. We really had to turn away at least 50 people who wanted to come, but there was no room. So it was for your safety, it was for your comfort that we shut it down. The Zarathushti diaspora in North America involves two primary homelands, Iran and India. Our identity, existence, prosperity, and survival depend on our understanding of our religion, of course, but also on how we have evolved over the centuries in two completely different environments. One in relative freedom, and the other in intolerable oppression. We are all the victims of our experiences. Our objective then, in the next 4 days, is to explore and understand what we are, who we are, and the way forward. We do not have a common understanding of who a Zarathushti is. We speak different languages. We eat different foods. We dance to different music. But our children and their children are already beginning to speak the same language. They are enjoying the same kinds of foods in North America. They are listening to and enjoying hip hop and other assorted noises. Our children then will have less of a problem with the kinds of definitional issues that confound us today. They will be bound together in a common religion practiced in the North American environment. That's at least my prayer. The theme of this Congress then, Zarathushti existence in the contemporary world, is very relevant to our times. At every step of the way, we have involved our sister association, the Iranian Zoroastrian Association, and I call it sister because its president is a sister, Shirin. We have called them our partners in the organization of this Congress. We did not know of a better way to forge understanding than to embrace our fellow Zarathushtis in this endeavor. And I hope that this becomes a model for all future Congresses. Our program chair, Dr. Keki Dadachandji, will be giving you further details of the program in precisely 14 minutes. And I say precisely because they are all allotted times. The people who will follow me of 4 minutes each, not a second more. That amounts to the time I've taken 14 minutes. Okay, the only direction Dr. Dadachandji was given was that the selection of the speakers and panelists represent all points of view across the entire spectrum. We believe that we have accomplished that in the selection of these speakers and panelists, despite what you may have read on the internet. Finally, I also have 4 minutes. Okay, let's rush. A key difference between this Congress and the one 14 years ago, exactly in this room, is how much our youth have been involved and how much they have participated in the development of our program and our social events. We have seen their involvement in every program track, in the choreographing of social events, and helping the older and technically challenged amongst us with today's communication and publicity methods. In some cases, ladies and gentlemen, these are high school and freshman college kids. Not even youth, college kids. Since our definition of youth is 40 years. So sit back and enjoy, but a couple of admonishments. One, please follow instructions from the volunteers. I do not take kindly to getting a call at 3 o'clock in the morning saying that you missed your bus and you're stranded in Times Square. The other request is, we are short on time. We have cut things so close that when we ask you to go to a particular room, run. Do not linger, because if that happens, everything else falls behind. So that is my plea to you all. Finally, to all the people involved with this Congress, volunteers, committee chairs and participants, speakers and panelists and performers, a sincere thank you from Farzeen, the Zagni board, and myself. Thank you.
Next, our sister association here in the tri-state area, as Gabe had mentioned, is IZA. They are our partners for the 2012 Congress. Please give a warm welcome to President of the Iranian Zoroastrian Association, Ms. Shireen Khosravi.
Welcome. Khosh Amadid. Beleb Pevara. I hope I didn't butcher it. Thank you very much, the members of Zarathushti associations, ladies and gentlemen, Dostan and friends. May I, on behalf of Iranian Zoroastrian Association, IZA, welcome all of you to New York for the 16th North American Zarathushti Congress 2012. And might I start particularly addressing more than 150 Zarathushtis from our motherland, Iran, who registered for this Congress but were not able to acquire the entry visa to US due to the political situation existing between Iran's government and US government. You are going to be missed. We hope the complete recording of the Congress that the board has decided to send to you would in a small way ease your disappointment of not being present here. Also, may I welcome Mr. and Mrs. Dabalian, who are the only two registrants from Iran who received their visa on time and were able to attend. This is the second Congress that's being held in New York, which our two associations, ZAGNI and ICA, in partnership have organized. I'm so proud to be part of this harmonized alliance. We think that this kind of coalition is a common sense. We could learn a lot from each other, and it's needed more between Iranian and Parsi associations. We Zarathushtis all follow the same teachings of a great mind, Zarathustra, which is not bound by time or geography. ICA strives to sustain and pass on Zarathushti faith and preserve the Persian custom and heritage for our next generation. Like us here in North America, a lot of Zarathushti families have migrated to countries other than their motherland, and therefore the children are growing up away from their parents' traditions. This also is another product of our time and has influenced the Zarathushti existence in the contemporary world, our Congress theme. In addition to the Iranian track, we have incorporated Persian dance and music for your entertainment, Persian artifact for the exhibit room, Persian munajat, and even an Iranian Zarathushti recipe book. The book is a very unique item and was put together through a community effort and contains recipes from traditional Zarathushti dishes from Iran, which is being made at celebrations and ceremonies. This book is included in your registration packages as a gift. Enjoy. Hope you make the best use of Congress Forum, as we have many interesting speakers and panel discussions that will enrich the agenda items. Hope your experience stay with you as a lasting and pleasant memory. Thank you.
Fezana as an organization serves as the coordinating body for 27 Zoroastrian associations in the United States and Canada. I would now like to introduce the current president of Fezana, Mr. Bami Patel.
Good morning, everybody. Respected Morbits, 16th North American Zarathushti Congress co-chair Fazil Patel, co-chair and ZAGNI president Gabe Minton, ICA president Shirin Khoshravi, respected guests Mr. Farooq Kawarana, Mr. and Mrs. Tinsha and Bachitamboli, other sponsors, keynote speaker Mr. Trita Parsi, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Fezana Executive, member associations and small groups, I welcome you all to the 16th North American Zarathushti Congress. I'm delighted to see so many of our fellow Zarathushtis at this event from all over North America, India, Iran, United Kingdom, and other countries. The Congress is an ideal event for our community members to meet and celebrate our identity and heritage. It is also a perfect opportunity to renew old friendships and make new ones. NAZC 2012 in Rye Brooks, New York is a welcome and a praiseworthy initiative taken by Fazana member associations, Zoroastrian Associations of Greater New York, ZAGNY, in association with the Iranian Zoroastrian Association, IZA, for which they deserve to be warmly congratulated. "2012 is a milestone year in Fazana's history as Fazana celebrates its Silver Jubilee. 25 years of service to the Zarathushti community in North America. NAZC 2012 brings our community together and also provides an opportunity for our community members to join and celebrate Fazana's Silver Jubilee today. My sincere thanks to the New York Zarathushti community for providing us this opportunity. I extend my thanks and gratitude to the NAZC 2012 co-chairs Fazin Patel and Gabe Menton, ICA President Shireen Khosravi, the Executive Committee chairs, and all the volunteers who put in a lot of time, effort, and energy to ensure that your experience at this Congress is enjoyable and memorable. It is because of their hard work and dedication that this Congress is possible. I have to mention one name. The Chair of Logistic Committee, Mrs. Meru Karma. Meru has done a commendable work in putting up this Congress and our efforts to ensure that our experience is memorable and good one. Thank you, Mayor. My sincere appreciation and thanks to every single one of them. I wish NAZC 2012 Congress every success. Thank you.
It gives me great pleasure to welcome the chair of Fazana's North American Congress Committee and president of ZSO, Mr. Darius Barucha.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. I want to start by thanking a few people. On behalf of Fazana's Congress Committee, I want to thank especially the President of ZAGNY and co-chair of this Congress, Mr. Gabe Menton, the President of IZA, Shireen Khosravi, and of course, Fazin Patel. You guys have done a fantastic job. Ladies and gentlemen, the theme of this Congress is extremely appropriate to our time. Zarathushti existence in a contemporary world. What does that mean to us as a community? We are, as we have said many times, in our second diaspora. And over the last 50 or 60 years, out here in North America, we've established ourselves as a community. We've moved beyond merely surviving and economic prosperity to developing hopes, aspirations, and dreams as a community. As we see, we are dispersed all across North America. But to realize our hopes, aspirations, and dreams as a community, we have to have a collective vision, a collective path forward. And this collective vision is nurtured and enhanced by forums such as these. It is vital that we continue to meet together, to discuss, to debate, to share all points of view. Doesn't matter which end of the spectrum they come from, as long as we can discuss them collectively in the spirit of Zarathustianism. That is important and it is vital. Many of us today are expected to show leadership for the next generation. If we collectively are able to demonstrate that we can dialogue with each other, no matter what our points of view, then we will have set an example that is valuable. Our youth look to us, the elders of the community, to move them forward. And many of them are here. In fact, just a month ago, we had the Zarathushti Games in Toronto. We had 750 young people and young at heart people participate in individual events. It was an explosion of Zarathushti youth. It was fantastic. This too will be an explosion of the collective consciousness of Zarathushti ideas. And as we progress forward, I want you all to have a fantastic time, wonderful dialogue, terrific discussion, and the collective spirit of Zarathushti endeavor to move forward. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we also have a tradition at every Congress. We have a Fezana Congress torch, symbolic trophy that is passed from association to association. This is generally done in an efficient manner, with a few exceptions. Sometimes we put the trophy so safely that we cannot remember where it was when we need to pass it on. However, we overcome such hurdles. And this being Fezana's 25th anniversary and a milestone in the history of Fezana, the Fezana executive has initiated a new trophy. And I would like to call to the stage Fezana President, Mr. Bami Patel, and the Chair of ZAG, the President of ZAGNI, Mr. Gabe Menton. Gentlemen. It's a collective Zarathushti endeavor in progress.
Ladies and gentlemen, it now gives me great pleasure to declare the Congress open.
So now that we're officially open, as the next 4 days will unveil relevant issues and the need for understanding how we can tackle these hard questions. The program themes and topics were masterfully created by the program committee and overseen by its chair, Mr. Keki Dadachandji. At this time, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you, Mr. Keki Dadachandji.
Friends, it's my pleasure to welcome you to the 16th North American Zarathushti Congress. Over the last 2 years, we asked people across North America what they thought about our theme, Zarathushti existence in the contemporary world. and related subjects. This is what they had to say.
Hello, New York.
Hi, New York. Hi, New York.
Hello, New York.
Salam, Sebji. Hello, bonjour, New York.
Hello, New York.
Hi, New York!
Every single day, being a Zarathushti makes me feel proud, makes me feel unique, and just stand out for who I am and what religion I am.
Good thoughts, good words, and good deeds aren't just words. It's a mindset. It's a way to live.
It's just, I really love how the religion is so in tune with nature, and it's so respectful of nature, and we have prayers for water and fire.
I don't believe you need either parent to be Zarathushti for you to be Zarathushti.
So I think as a community, we have to be more tolerant and more open and more welcoming of the minority viewpoint.
You know that one of the principles of our religion is the equality between men and women.
But I think there are so many things that Iranians can learn from Parsis, that Parsis can learn from Iranians, that in the end are going to make our community so much stronger.
We're such a small community, and we still find ways to divide and segment ourselves.
What makes me hopeful is that the new generation, they are more educated and they carry less of these kind of discriminatory attitudes.
You're not in the colony anymore. You don't have another 1,000 people around you who are same as you, look like you, talk like you, pray like you, do things like you.
Yeah, I mean, the perception is that we don't have poor people, but if you go to Gujarat, you'll absolutely see desperately poor Parsis. I mean, that's just a reality on the ground over there.
Parsi, the name is charity, and I sometimes wonder, is it really true or not?
We have to inculcate the idea that charity is more than giving money, it is giving of yourself.
We should be focusing more on our youth and the ways to get them engaged and involved in the community in the next 10 to 15 years so that we feel a community and a culture outside of our immediate families.
I'm aware of the dams affecting Cyrus's tomb, and also the humidity levels have been increased, particularly around the Jamshid area, Persepolis, and apparently it's affecting the moss growth and other type of growth on these ancient stones.
Structurals, yes, I heard that there is almost everything it gets old and it needs repair, and unfortunately it's not being there is no attention to them, and I heard that a lot of them are falling apart.
Having my Navjot was going to be something that would be very, very relevant to the future, to how I lived my life.
So at the Navjot, I was comprehending this, that I'm making a commitment for the rest of my life. And that has affected me deeply.
I think there's a great future for our religion and also the impact we're going to make in this world.
Hello, New York! Durud bar shoma, New Yorkers.
Hi, New York.
Hello, New York. I'm coming soon.
Now, let me introduce the theme of this Congress. I am privileged to live near New York City and sometimes go to Carnegie Hall to listen to wonderful music from some of the world's greatest orchestras and performers. As I take my seat there, I notice that majority of people around me are old. They are passionate about classical music. They have been coming there for many years. However, the management of Carnegie Hall is worried about the future. Unless we can attract some young people, we will have ever-shrinking audience. We will not survive. Carnegie Hall's survival in today's world is their concern. However, their most loyal subscribers say, don't cheapen classical music just to attract those who don't care for it anyway. This is their dilemma. How to survive without compromising their core purpose. this is a question many institutions ask. It is a question many religions ask. The theme of this Congress is Zarathushti existence in the contemporary world. The environment around us in North America is ever changing. Unless we understand and respond to that change, we will lose relevance. We will lose people. However, we must never compromise our core beliefs and values. This is the motivation behind the agenda for this Congress. We begin by reminding ourselves what our core beliefs are. We remind ourselves the purpose of the central ritual of Zarathushti, Navjot and Sudre-Bushi ceremony. Then we discuss what makes us Zarathushtis. We call this the question of Zarathushti identity. We hear from younger Zarathushti what inspires and engages them into the religion and community, and what alienates them. Finally, we look at the worldwide Zarathushti community and discuss how we can contribute to their welfare. Specifically, we focus on two areas: poverty of Zarathushtis in Gujarat and the potential danger to our heritage sites in Iran. We would like all of you to be engaged in this conversation. We expect a diversity of opinions. However, we would like to always respect people with whom we disagree. We hope to reach some common ground at the close of this Congress, and we hope the close of this Congress becomes the beginning of a journey. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. Trita Parsi. Dr. Parsi is a practicing Zarathushti with a keen interest in the community as well as the philosophy and theology of religion. Many of us know him for his public role as the head of the National Iranian American Council. He has a PhD from Johns Hopkins University and 2 critically acclaimed books on Iranian foreign policy. He's a regular presence on BBC, CNN, and Al Jazeera. He writes frequently for the Washington Post, New York Times, the Jerusalem Post, the Los Angeles Times, and the Huffington Post. His latest book, A Single Roll of the Dice, Obama's Diplomacy with Iran, was recently featured on Jon Stewart's Daily Show. But few of us might know that Trita is a Zarathushti from Iran, whose father has been the head of the Iranian Zarathushti community in Sweden, where Trita grew up, or that he spent time in Mumbai with his fellow Parsis, meeting with a range of leaders from the Parsi Panchayat to other institutions. We live in a world today with intense international conflicts. Zarathustra lived in a world with intense discord that initially rejected his teachings. He overcame that resistance without violence. We can learn from his philosophy and values how he transformed adversaries, allies. This will be the subject of Dr. Parsi's address today: building a new world order, the role of Zarathushti values. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Trita Parsi.
Thank you. It's a great pleasure being here today. It's a true honor. I am very grateful to the North American Zarathushti Congress for organizing these wonderful events, for bringing our community together, for serving it, and for giving me this opportunity today to address you. I'm particularly grateful to Professor Dadanjanji, Farzin Patel, Nina Mistry, and Shirinki Amanesh for all their help in setting this up. I have to admit, when I was first contacted to come and give the keynote for you today, I was quite terrified. But then I thought of the moment when I told my son, Dariush, when he was only 4, for the first time, about good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. And he looked at me and he said, "What about good toys?" And I realized that this is an opportunity not to miss. I'm not a regular at Zoroastrian events, and there is a reason for that. Witnessing the sad developments in Iran for the last 3 decades has impressed on me the value and necessity of the separation of church and state. And I believe that needs to be followed to its fullest extent. And since my work, my regular work, is in the realms of international affairs and politics, I've made an effort to keep an appropriate distance from everything that has to do with religion. Not to protect the politics, but to protect the religion. Today, I've agreed to make a small exception, because I strongly believe that humanity is in dire need of the intellectual wealth and moral strength of the Zoroastrian wisdom. In my talk here today, I will be treating the thoughts and the values of Zoroastrianism more as a philosophy than as a religion. The theme here today is Zoroastrian existence in the contemporary world. I will address the meaning and value of Zarathushti ideas in the contemporary world. Let me also start by saying that I am by no means an expert on the religion. I don't have a degree in theology or in philosophy. I'm not going to present to you here any results of a painstaking research done over the course of decades. In fact, my aim is not to present to you any conclusions at all. Rather, I'm going to share with you some thoughts and observations from my years working in a Western political setting, where our interaction and behavior were not informed by Zoroastrian ideas and thoughts, but rather by Western philosophical thought and ideas derived from the Abrahamic faiths. These thoughts and observations hopefully will lead us to ask some good questions. In my regular work, I interact with opinion makers, decision makers, policy experts, and politicians on a regular basis. I attend open and closed conferences with and track 2 meetings with world leaders, foreign ministers, members of Congress, White House staff, and civil and military leaders. Crisis after crisis is addressed at these meetings, ranging from everything a few years ago about the situation in Iraq, to the war in Lebanon, to the ongoing nuclear standoff with Iran, and now with this horrible carnage that is taking place in Syria. The reasoning at these meetings, regardless of issue, is founded on a few assumptions about the nature of mankind. These assumptions, which I will get to in a moment, create patterns of behavior, and everyone acts in a certain way based on their belief and assumption that others will act according to the same calculations. But these patterns, which we have been taught to emulate, which we have been taught to believe are innate to our nature, are failing us. We are at a moment, globally, in which international institutions are withering away. International law is increasingly disregarded, and we are decisively moving back to the law of the jungle. The sense of direction that gives hope and the strength to reach beyond the horizon is lacking. The ideas we thought would create peace and coexistence are failing. There are also crises at the individual and the community level. Wealth has been created, yet the poverty of unhappiness is prevailing. Technology has advanced, yet human interaction is increasingly primitive. Connectivity is at its height, yet humanity has never felt this lonely. There are several aspects to this crisis. Today, I will focus on the area that I have some experience with, and that is the interaction of states and the efforts to create a more peaceful world. We ourselves here today are clearly a victim of that, mindful of the fact that so many of the Iranian Zoroastrians were not given visas to be able to attend to it. Now, all of this may not sound directly relevant to Zoroastrianism, but Zoroastrianism and the values and insights it carries is actually very relevant to the future state of affairs between nations. Let me explain why. Every aspiring political science student is given, on his first day of class, a copy of Niccolò Machiavelli's book, The Prince. Machiavelli was an Italian historian, a diplomat and a philosopher, based in Florence during the Renaissance. A founder of modern political science, he was a civil servant of the Florentine Republic. His advice on how rulers should rule is considered, perhaps unfortunately, to be a masterpiece. Everything that is taught after that in political science references back to Machiavelli and some of the other key thinkers in the Western world within the school that is referred to as the School of Realism. Within international relations theory, this school holds a hegemonic position. It dominates and it determines. Everything that occurs is primarily understood, interpreted, predicted, and acted upon through this lens of the likes of Machiavelli, Hobbes, and Thucydides. So what then is this lens? Can I please request the doctor in the audience to come outside the ballroom, please? There is some sort of an emergency there. If there's any doctors in the room, please go to outside of the ballroom. Thank you. So what then is this lens that Machiavelli and others are teaching us to understand the nature of man and the interaction of states? Since Machiavelli is the most direct and uncensored of the realists, let me start with a few quotes from him to give you an idea what young political scientists are taught when they take their first steps towards learning how to analyze and conduct the affairs of states. First quote: "It is necessary for him who lays out a state and arranges laws for it to presuppose that all men are evil and that they're always going to act according to the wickedness of their spirits." That's just the opener. Of mankind, we may say in general, they are fickle, hypocritical, and greedy of gain. It is better to be feared than to be loved. It is double pleasure to deceive the deceiver. A prince never lacks a legitimate reason to break his promise. Politics have no relations to morality. War should be the only study of a prince. He should consider peace only as a breathing time. Hobbes, another key thinker of the dominant realist school, is known for several quotes, including, "Peace between states is merely war by other means." These are the thoughts and the beliefs that constitute the guiding principles for how we conduct state interaction. We assume that man is evil. We assume this is his nature, that this is innate and it is permanent. We assume that peace is impossible. It is at best a breathing period between wars. Of course, the realists say that they're just describing reality as it is. This is simply an objective reality. Our description of the world or our beliefs about it does not affect what the world is. It doesn't change because we change our beliefs about it. That objective reality is derived from our selfish, evil, and unchanging nature. And realism in that sense belongs to the category of theories that claims that it existed even before it was invented. It does not have the ambition of creating a more peaceful world because it doesn't believe that it's possible. Our nature is too selfish and evil for peace to be possible. At best, we only seek to manage conflict. But rather than believing that this is an accurate description of our nature, there is an argument that these theories actually are the things that shape our thinking and our behavior, rather than our nature. We teach our young students to depart from the assumption that man is evil and act accordingly. We teach them that breaking your word is necessary, that it is a pleasure to deceive, that politics is amoral, and that as a result, we don't need to give it any second thought. Perhaps we shouldn't be surprised that the world looks the way it does. At a moment when the world is facing a crisis of values, I think we should pause and try to reimagine the world. Imagine if students of political science, in their preparation for the handling of the affairs of state, study not Machiavelli and Hobbes, but rather the thinking of Zarathushti. Imagine if they were introduced to the idea that man's nature is neither good nor evil, but rather, as Zarathustra says in Yasna 30, Part 2, each man and woman must make his or her own choice. Imagine if the departure point of the analysis, the conduct of statecraft, was not to believe that evil is necessary to give meaning to the good, as the Abrahamic faiths imply, but rather use the metaphor of Zarathustra, the metaphor of the truth and the lie, meaning the lie, as a corruption of the truth, cannot exist on its own, and as a result can ultimately not prevail over truth. Imagine if the altruism espoused in Zarathustra's Hashem Bahu was mandatory reading rather than Machiavelli's justification for deceit and greed. Would that world not look different from what we have today? Would we still be stuck in this perpetual cycle of dominating and being dominated? Would peace still be nothing more than a brief respite while preparing for the next inevitable war? I suspect that we must conclude that the world would look different, because if we didn't, there would be no reason to follow the words of Zarathustra, since it would be inconsequential. I know that one can make the argument that I'm comparing apples and oranges. Can one really compare theology with international relations theory? I think one can, because it's all about ideas. The question is, what are these ideas, and what type of a behavior do they inspire? If they don't inspire any behavior at all, then all intellectual discussions are irrelevant. Forget all the names of the philosophers and thinkers that you've been taught in school, and cancel the Nobel festivities. Ideas do inspire behavior. And the ideas of the dominant Western school of thought have trapped humanity in a corner. Its ideas have helped perpetuate a state of warfare and turn it into a seemingly permanent reality. What I would like to suggest is that the universal message of Zarathustra and the ideas and values it carries have applicability well beyond theology and philosophy. In the crisis of values that humanity faces, it can provide answers, but only if that knowledge is shared and spread. I would like to commend those like Dr. Ali Jafari who have dedicated their life to studying, interpreting, and sharing the ideas of Zarathustra with new audiences. As a community, we of course have understandably focused much of our energy on the survival of the community itself. That is of course a task that becomes more and more difficult over time. But I hope we don't forget that the wisdom of Zarathustra goes well beyond us, that his thinking was not just aimed for us. I'm not suggesting any effort to convert others. Again, I approach Zarathustra more as a philosophy than a religion, but to bring the treasure of his thinking and intellectual wealth to the marketplace of ideas. I've yet to see widespread scholarly work contrasting Zoroastrian thinking with the leading Western philosophers in the area of statecraft and human interaction. Scientific papers on how new global institutions would look like if the pillars of the New World Order was inspired by Zarathustra and his ideas rather than those who have departed from the assumption that war and evil is the characterizing feature of humanity. Machiavelli said, "It comes about that all armed prophets have been victorious, and all unarmed prophets have been destroyed." I hope that if there are any aspiring political science students in the room here today, or philosophy students, that you will take up the task as a first step of proving Machiavelli wrong and proving Zarathustra right. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Parsi. We really appreciate your enlightening talk this morning. On behalf of the executive boards of FIZANA, ZAGNI, and IZA, we would like to present you this morning with a small token gift of our gratitude for coming here this morning and presenting us with this enlightening talk. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our morning's opening ceremony. We will be having coffee at 10:45 to 11:15, which will begin our first session for the day for the next 4 days. Thank you so much for coming. Enjoy.